We are live, rock and rolling.
Yes, we are live.
All right. How's everyone doing out there? We've got our daughter's bumper music playing, brand new song by Sammy Gardner called Dark Magic, available on Spotify. Y'all check it out.
Absolutely. How's everyone doing out there tonight? Thanks for joining us. My name is John Gardner. This is I'm going to switch it around tonight. I'm going to say tonight, this is my law partner and wife, Radlin Mendoza. I normally say wife and law partner, but this is a professional broadcast about the law. So I'm going to lead with law partner and wife, Radlin Mendoza. And we are the immigration law firm Gardner and Mendoza. We come to you every week, normally on Wednesday night from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock to give you immigration updates and to answer your immigration questions. We're on Thursday night tonight because we were in Richmond yesterday evening for our daughter's cross-country meet. And so we apologize if you were looking for us last night and couldn't find us. And hopefully you were patient and waited 24 hours to join us tonight. So
yeah, hopefully you're here tonight. I'm sharing.
Absolutely.
Just keep on going.
Yeah. I do want to give you a couple of warnings. One thing I want to let you know is that what we do here is for informational, educational, and entertainment purposes only. It is not legal advice. So that's the technical warning. The other warning is just,
But why can't it be legal advice?
Don't take what we tell you and then act on it, because we're not your attorneys. We're simply taking a shot at answering a question where we, have a little bit of information. And when you're a client of ours, obviously we dig deep, we uncover every stone, and we really, really, find everything that we need to find about the case before we move forward. Here, we're just dealing with a snippet, and that's one of the reasons that it can't be legal advice, and one of the reasons that lawyers should not be giving out legal advice to non-clients. All right. That's the warning. 2 warnings, actually. Okay.
Low battery or charging detected.
Yep, it's good. It's
getting better.
Good.
Okay.
Yep, it's all good. It's plugged in. It's all
good. It's all good. Yeah.
Perfect.
We've got the lines going here. It's not quite the production. We do have lights.
Well, we just keep working on the tech in the studio and just keep advancing. I mean, just to be clear, we're lawyers. We went to law school to become lawyers. We did not go to any sort of broadcasting school or learn any formal broadcasting skills. And so
that is correct. And that's why this is for entertainment purposes, right?
That's one of the reasons. Absolutely.
Fantastic.
I think we do a pretty good job.
Yeah.
Okay.
So before we get into the questions, why don't you go ahead and just let them know what they should be doing?
Yeah. Well, the one update, we've been talking about this for a couple of weeks now, actually about a month. What you should be doing right now,
if you're a lawful permanent resident,
and you want to become a U.S. citizen, something that you've always wanted to do or something you just decided yesterday that you want to do, what you should be doing is calling 757-464-9224 to talk to our law firm so that we can get you signed up and get your case filed, because you only have 10 more days before the test gets harder. This is something we've been warning you all about. If you can get your case filed in the next 10 days, you're going to fall under the old test, which is easier than the new test will be. The new test is going to bump up to 128 questions that you are going to need to know the answers to. And you're going to be asked 20 of those, and you're going to have to get 12 of them right. That's twice as many questions asked and twice as many that you have to get correct than you do right now. So get it filed in the next. That's going to be really hard for you to do without help, but we can do it for you and absolutely get it filed within the next 10 days.
If you call us tomorrow. We had cutoff today. Cutoff was today.
Cutoff's tomorrow.
Cutoff is tomorrow now.
You want to get that filed so that you don't have a harder test. And, in addition to just the test itself, the naturalization process is involving what they're calling a more holistic approach, where instead of just showing that you haven't done certain negative things that would keep you out of the box. You also have to show that, you're just generally a good person, worthy of citizenship. That's, basically unrolling now, but the longer you wait, the more, fine-tuned it's going to be, the more robust it's going to be, the more agents they'll have working on it. And so naturalization really is, it's a time-sensitive thing right now. You really want to get rolling on this because the window is closing. It's going to get harder, and I think it'll just get harder yet again. So now is the
Don't
time.
wait. Don't wait.
The time is now, as they say.
Because I think that people are going to have the tendency to say, okay, well, I do want to file for naturalization. I want to file for a couple of reasons. One, my parents have been wanting to join me here in the United States. I could really use their help. We have little children. I want them to come and spend time with their children and babysit the children, right? And you're going to wait, but you shouldn't wait. A lot of people have just sort of the wait mode, like, oh, should I wait to file my marriage case? Should I wait to file naturalization, even though I want to bring my parents here? And you can't file for your parents unless you are a U.S. citizen. But as John mentioned, it is going to get tougher. We are seeing these changes come back from 2020, and it's going to get tougher. It may even get more expensive. So please don't wait. Please don't say I'm going to wait because I can't file after the 20th and I'm going to have to study those 128 questions. What if those questions ballooned up to 300 questions that you had to study in the next couple of years? What about that? So yes, all right, we're not gonna lecture.
No, we're not, but just,
Just please
make
take
sure
it
that-
seriously.
Yeah, try to get on it as soon as you can. And if you do miss a deadline, just let me point out that if you don't get it, well, if you don't call us tomorrow and hire us to do it for you, and you don't do it on your own within those next 10 days, well, then call us either way, because then the test will be harder. But the good news for you is that we can absolutely help you prepare our naturalization clients. Not only do we make sure that they are properly eligible, and that includes making sure that it's not going to trigger a problem for them. There are rare cases where filing a naturalization application can actually have adverse effects. We're going to make sure that doesn't happen. We're going to make sure that you are eligible. We know exactly what we're looking for and what the requirements are. We're going to file everything for you, and we're going to help you prepare. And that includes a mock interview. So when you go into your real interview, you will already done a mock interview, like a practice interview with us, going through the questions where the setting is the same, the tone is the same, the demeanor, the time, everything. It's literally like a dress rehearsal. So when you go to the real show, you're already ready.
All right. Fantastic. And that test is going to get harder if you file. Yes.
Go ahead. That test is, go ahead.
If you file on or after October 20th of 2025. So that's in 11 days.
Sorry, I just realized almost 15 minutes in, we forgot to say hi to all the folks on TikTok.
Well, are we not always saying hi to them?
No,
I'm sorry.
TikTok,
TikTok fam, we are
so
sorry.
We did not specifically say welcome to all of you joining on TikTok, because we're on Facebook Live and we're also on TikTok. We do them at the same time. And so hello to everyone on TikTok.
That's messed up.
Yeah, I know.
I was too busy sharing to Facebook. I mean, come on. I mean, Facebook, nothing against people on Facebook and use Facebook, but really the action is TikTok, right? All right. You guys bring the questions.
Well, the TikTok does bring the questions. That is true.
All good, though.
We're gonna
love you all.
We're going to get to them. And I apologize in advance. It's just impossible. We have hundreds of questions sometimes. And so we'll do the best that we can. One other brief update. We are hearing that there's going to be something happening in Richmond. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it was announced today through American Immigration Lawyers Association, an email that was sent, that they will probably be opening an immigration court in Richmond, Virginia. So keep an eye out for that. That means, so those of you who are local here, our office is located in Virginia Beach, Virginia, but we do serve clients all around the United States. And because immigration law is federal and we can do that. And so those cases, and we will keep you in.
Yeah, we will keep you
I mean,
apprised of any developments.
what's happening over here.
I don't really know exactly what it'll do with our practice. Who knows? We shall see. We shall see. It's different for us being in Virginia Beach. You know, having to go all the way to Alexandria is a different situation than having to go to Richmond. So the fact that it'll be much closer to us will certainly enter the calculus in what we decide to do regarding removal work in the future. And we will keep you posted, keep you in tune, keep you apprised. Okay. All of that, by the way, is part of the entertainment. I hope you've enjoyed it.
All right.
Okay.
But this is mostly really helpful information. So
Yeah.
for all of you out there, please share this live stream to happening over here, guys, on Facebook, but it keeps blacking out. So bear with us. We are still here. And yeah, this battery is what do we have here?
Well, we just have a comment. And, this is a comment, but I think
Yeah.
we should address it. I'm so scared to apply for citizenship because some problems.
This is Pinaisa America. So she's Filipino. Listen, I will say that my mom waited 30 years before she became a naturalized US citizen. And she probably was afraid in some regards, but mostly it was a time situation. She didn't have time to do it, or she didn't make time to do it. And after our business burned down in 1998, we had our grocery store open from 1974 to 1998. And she went and immediately applied because she had all that time and she was not running the grocery store from 9 a.m. to 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. every day. So that's one reason, one excuse: time, no time. The other one is fear. So what is the fear? What you have to do, Pinay, South America, is you have to face reality. And the only way that you can face reality is by speaking with us and letting us evaluate your case and saying, hey, listen, I know you're afraid of this one thing that happened. You got a speeding ticket and maybe you didn't pay your fine right away. And then you paid your fine a couple of years later and now it's all good. We want to look at that. We want to see what the reality is. And are you scared because of monsters under your bed, which is not real? Or are you legitimately afraid of something that is in your record that is going to prevent you from naturalizing and becoming a US citizen? And in worst case scenario, put you in a situation where they're going to take your green card away. I'm not trying to scare you, but the key here is to get an evaluation. Let us evaluate your N400 case. And if you're scared about filing for N400, are you scared about just remaining a lawful permanent resident of the United States right now? Are you afraid of leaving the United States and coming in the United States as a lawful permanent resident? So I bring these things up because anything that could be scary, it is not just going to be scary for N400 purposes, but it's also going to be scary for you as a person traveling out of the United States and coming back in, or renewing your lawful permanent resident card. So get the evaluation. A lot of times people are afraid to file for citizenship, and 7 times out of 10, it's really nothing. But there's no way of you knowing that without speaking to us. So we would welcome you to give us a call. We have consultations every day of the week, and we would be happy to meet with you. And we do all of our consultations virtually, whether you're in our backyard or whether you're in Colorado or Thailand, wherever you are. All of our initial consultations start off with a Zoom consultation, a phone call, or WhatsApp Messenger or FaceTime, whatever you prefer. So we will meet you wherever you are. It doesn't matter where you are. We can help you.
Yeah, and she added a little bit later that she was, and I wanted that answer to continue because that's really helpful to a really broad swath of people who may be thinking about citizenship.
Yeah.
She specifically added that she was afraid that the questions are going to get harder, and that's a legitimate fear because the questions, in addition to more questions, they are retooling the questions to make the answers a little more sophisticated, in depth, and requiring a deeper understanding of the question in order to answer it. And again, this is where, I understand that you can be afraid. It's a natural emotion. But that's where preparation comes in.
Yeah.
You don't need to be afraid. You just need to be armed with the tools that you need to be fully prepared. And that's going to include knowing the questions, practicing the exam, and
studying the right questions.
We can help you with all of that.
Yep.
All right.
We just, I just met with a couple that we assisted 5 years ago. They're ready to apply for naturalization. Super excited that they are moving forward with naturalization because they are previous clients, and we're going to file it before the 20th. So I'm excited to be able to do that for them and for them to be able to take that easier test, because even though it's only 28 questions, it's also just a mental thing. So a lot of you might think, oh, gosh, okay, I'm not going to be able to file this until before the 20th. So that means I'm going to have to take the 128 question test. So therefore I'm going to wait some more. So just, I know we hammer this home every single week, do we not?
Of course.
And the reason is just not fast forward, rewind to like a year ago when we told you to apply for U.S. citizenship.
2 years ago, 3 years ago.
Rewind to January when we said, guys, this is going to change. You know it's going to change. Well, let's just start in November, right? December. So we've been telling you guys to apply for U.S. citizenship, and some of you didn't, many of you didn't. And now we're in a situation now, there's this next level, apply for U.S. citizenship before the 20th. And then after the 20th, it's going to be a different level. So as you can see, the trend is it's probably going to get just harder and harder. So yes, Panisa America, let's go.
And
let's go.
Let's go. Or as our daughter say, you got this. The additional question that she had, and I think would be helpful for everyone as well, is what if you have a criminal record? Concern about a criminal record.
So again, if you have a concern about a criminal record, have your case evaluated, right?
Absolutely.
Let us consult with you. Let us take a look at your charge, your conviction, your arrest. And we get this question. We've been getting this question since, all these travel issues that people have been having. And if you have a criminal record history and you're a lawful permanent resident and you travel outside the United States, you need to be worried about that, right? You need to be worried about whether this criminal conviction is going to prevent you from coming in or get you put into removal proceedings, whether you're coming in and it's a mandatory detention situation, depending on what the charge and or conviction is. So we know that people who are coming in and they don't have all of their, say you have a conviction, say you have a theft conviction and it's not wrapped up. Maybe you had it 5 years ago. Maybe you forgot to pay a fine. Maybe you don't have the certified disposition with you to show that this grand larceny got reduced to a misdemeanor theft with community service. Maybe you're not traveling with that documentation when you're coming back in as a lawful permanent resident. That's going to be a problem. And those are just a couple of things. So just get the information, guys. It's okay. We charge $295 for a consultation. And like I mentioned, it's virtual. And if we can help you and there's a way forward to help you and you would like to work with us and we would like to work with you, then we will subtract that $295 from any legal fees that are quoted to you. So $295. It's a 45-minute to an hour consultation. Do you want to know or do you want to be scared? So knowledge is and information is power, and it will help you make decisions that are important, not just to be scared all the time. But I understand it's a lot easier to just not pay attention to it, but it's dangerous to do that right now.
Yeah, and if you have a criminal record, there's that really is a reason to contact us or another competent immigration attorney. I practiced criminal defense law for many years in the immigration space, and by that I mean most of my clients that I represented, we had their immigration case, how it would affect their immigration case in mind first and foremost. That's why they were coming to me specifically, was because I understood, the intersection between criminal and immigration. And so I was always trying to craft results that would result in a positive immigration outcome. And some criminal defense lawyers don't know anything about that. They do things they think are a good result for their client for the criminal case, and they are sometimes, but they're devastating for the immigration case. And so we had to be very careful with that. And so that's why we really need to analyze what were the charges, what was the result. Even if you think it was nothing, it might be something serious. Maybe you thought it was dismissed, but it actually wasn't for immigration purposes because you had a deferred finding, or you went to, a drug court or anger management, and after that it got dismissed, and you think that was the end of it. These are all common pitfalls that we find people stepping into without knowing it. And there are cases where you can make your situation worse, as Radlin said.
Yeah.
And so make sure that if you have a criminal record, all of you out there, and you're thinking about naturalizing or doing anything in the immigration world for that matter, you really need to talk to us before you take another step. Okay.
Absolutely. And
this naturalizations, I mean, we do everything. This is particularly, I think you're out of frame now there.
Am I?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. It's just this thing. It's just.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
I just put the sound.
Gotcha.
Sound
yeah, I mean, it's really important. We've been doing this for 25 years now. Radlin.
25th year anniversary in October. Let's give it up. Just playing with the studio.
Yeah,
guys.
This is fun. Yeah, and Radlin is a frequent speaker at the oath ceremonies here in Norfolk, at the Norfolk Federal Court. And so that's always a really nice experience.
Yes, it's awesome.
Okay.
Next question.
Okay,
we're not going to talk anymore. We're just going to answer questions, rock and roll. Let's do this. Okay, Jim. Jim says, hi, this is Jim. Happy anniversary. Thank you very much, Jim. Really appreciate it. Got one short question. How does USCIS receive an addendum when something may have been left out with a fiancé visa? So if the fiancé visa is still in process, I mean, you can always, send a letter, and you would have to put the receipt number, I would put the receipt on top of it and make the edit if that's what you want to do. So hopefully that answers your question. Will it get to them? Will it end up in the file? We hope that it will. And you can show proof that you sent it and mailed it off and that it was delivered. So that is one way to get it to them. All right. Hopefully that answers your question.
All right. And we're getting a lot of happy anniversary.
Yes, it was also our 27th wedding anniversary. Yes, right. 27th wedding anniversary. Had to
27 years married, 25 years.
It was just last week in our
learning Gardner-Meadows immigration law and loving every minute of it.
It's been fun.
Kenny said a question here on TikTok. How long can it take to receive the USCIS receipt notice after filing for a marriage-based
Say
green
3 to
card?
4 months. Sorry, no, not months. My bad. 3 to 4 weeks. Okay, see, we're doing it. We're just answering the questions. Could have talked about that more. Okay, so Miss Deborah has a question. Happy anniversary. Thank you so much. Have you heard of any recent case of a law-abiding person whose only violation is overstay being arrested and sent for deportation proceedings? No, we have not, thankfully.
Yeah, we don't have any specific examples. And you know, supposedly that's very low on the importance list. But you know, okay.
Got to be careful there. The things that we have seen are people who have had some sort of history. The couple the big things that have been in the news have been people who have filed for a marriage-based green card. They go to their interview, unbeknownst to them, because they were minors, they had a final order of removal, and so that really puts you in a different lane, because an immigration judge, even though you're a minor, has ordered you to leave the country and you haven't, you're still here. So that has resulted in the person getting detained on the spot. And then, of course, people who go into their marriage-based green card cases or naturalization for that matter, or any type of green card case in a local office, if you have any outstanding warrants for your arrest, they're going to arrest you and make sure that you get processed in the city or the county where that happened. So there's a lot more enforcement. We've been telling you, if you go to their Facebook, if you go to USCIS's Facebook page, their Instagram, it is way more. We're working with ICE, handcuffs, people being let out of the interviews. And what that means is, you have to be prepared. And when you come meet with us or another immigration attorney, tell them your full history, even if you have a vapor of a memory that something may have happened. And we're probably going to order that a FOIA that be done, right? Not order, but we request that you allow us to do a FOIA on your behalf, a Freedom of Information Act request, so we can get all of your immigration records from all of the agencies. So sometimes you don't know. I mean, if you came in as a child and your parent had some sort of immigration case, then yes, you should get FOIA'd. We should get your file, because you're probably under your parents' case, even though nothing happened. It was probably administratively, we don't know. So good question.
Yeah, we have a lot of clients, Deborah, and we deal with a lot of people in immigration matters and a lot of immigration forums, so on and so forth. And, we just don't, we haven't seen that.
Yeah.
We just have not seen somebody who's done nothing else wrong other than having an overstay or being an overstay person be on immigration's radar right now. So, I wouldn't be losing sleep over it. And I say that to all of you out there. When you watch the news, and you can kind of get this impression that, everyone is getting picked up left and right. I don't want to downplay. Enforcement is way up right now, that's for sure. And I don't want to downplay anyone's fear about it generally. But at the same time, I want to remind everyone that immigration cases are being processed just normally every single day. It's not like the entire immigration environment now is just all this crazy enforcement that you're seeing, in snippets on the news. They typically are situations, as Radlin said, somebody didn't know that they had a final order of removal or something like that, and then that blows up and then you see it and you get the impression that's happening all the time. For the most part, we are open for business. They are open for business. And don't let that be what's holding you back. Just general fear. All right.
Okay. Next question. Thank you, Rolian. It's a great anniversary.
Okay. Do you think I can reopen a case? Something denial, no derogatory info per FOIA CBP, FBI, USCIS. This question has been posted multiple times. And I'm not really sure what the question
Okay,
is.
so can you reopen a case? Do you think I can reopen a case? No derogatory infer. I'm not sure exactly what you're referring to. If you have a case in court, if you have a case in immigration court, and maybe your case has been administratively closed, or maybe you were ordered removed, and you want to reopen it. I'm not sure if that's what you're referring to. I would speak with an immigration attorney who specializes in removal. And if you need a referral, then we'll be happy to help you with that. But right now, generally speaking, if there is a case and the person has, no relief or some form of relief, but we need to go before an immigration judge to get their case reopened and terminated based on new set of facts, we would really have to take a very close look to see if it is worth doing that. If a person has already been ordered removed. So I'm not sure if that's what you're referring to. You're talking about a FOIA. You mean it's something that, guys, the live is for you to get your question answered. All the lives that you see on Facebook and TikTok, right? They're going to give you a snippet. The immigration lawyer is going to give you a snippet of an answer. But this live and all the lives that you see on social media, it's for you to make the phone call, right? And again, we would love it if you called us, but call another reputable attorney if you want to be, call someone else. You don't like us for whatever reason, call someone else. But these lives, you have these questions, this question specifically, the person who is afraid of filing for naturalization, call an attorney and do more fact finding. And I know you guys know that. I know that you're not, or you better not be, right? You better not be taking this information from this live or any live. I don't care how great the immigration lawyer is and how many stars they have or whatever, but you need to back it up and you need to go and do a more in-depth consultation with an immigration attorneys like us. So, all right.
Right. What I always like to say is, you're worth it.
Yeah.
Look at yourself in the mirror and say, am I worth paying for a consultation with an immigration professional to make sure that I do this right, or that I at least get off on the right foot, or at least I know that I'm eligible for it? Absolutely, you are. I know you are.
Yep.
Okay, Taki over here.
I've got, wait.
Oh.
Yeah. Isn't it my question?
Yeah.
It's my turn.
Sorry, TikTok. These Facebook folks.
Not a lot of questions here, but this is a great question. Ems Villarosa, hello. My green card got approved on May 29th, 2025. I've been with my sponsoring employer for almost 5 years. When can I leave my employer without compromising my naturalization? So May, June, July, August, September, October. So Miss Ems, just call you Ms. Ems. There is no time, right? I mean, do you have a contract? Is there a contract? Probably not. Probably you don't have a contract. But generally speaking, the government, society, employment law as a whole does not really support an employer and employee working with each other, right? If they don't want that to happen. So if your employer wanted to fire you tomorrow, they could fire you, generally speaking, in an at-will state, right? Commonwealth of Virginia is an at-will state. If you wanted to leave your employer a month after you got your green card because it just wasn't working out anymore, generally speaking, the government, the Department of Labor, USCIS, the Department of Homeland Security, not going to make you stay there because that's just contrary to at-will employment and personal freedom, right? And freedom. So I can't really answer your question. It's leaving your employment should never compromise your naturalization unless there's some sort of something going on there, right? Was there fraud? Is this a real position?
That's the word that was about to come out
yeah.
of my mouth.
Was the petitioner, did your brother own the company that that ultimately petitioned for you, and you didn't check the box that your family members on the perm application? So, I mean, these are more of the questions that I'm interested in knowing the answer to. I'm sure the answer is no to all of these, hopefully anyway. But that's what I think about, not, okay, I need to stay with my employer for X amount of years after I've got my green card so I can be free and be okay in filing for my naturalization. Now, will you go to your naturalization interview and you just got your green card in 2025, so you're going to go in 2030, right? You're going to go May 28th, 2030, or whatever. You're going to file 5 years from the time that you got your permanent resident card. So, or 4 years and 9 months, because you can apply 90 days early. But is the immigration officer, when you say, oh, okay, you got it through perm, work with you, are they going to say, oh, you left your employment in October and you had just gotten your green card in May, I'm not going to naturalize you, right? That's not, I'm not going to approve your naturalization application, right? That's not really what the inquiry should be. They can ask questions though. What happened? Why did you leave? Oh, it was, do you have documentation of that? No, I don't. It was, I outgrew the position, right? There was another opportunity. The company had layoffs. I mean, people leave employment, their employment for a variety of reasons. And again, I guess my recommendation to you is not to tie the two things together, right? Naturalization and the length of time at my sponsoring employer. Hopefully that helps. I feel like I was just jumping around a lot with that answer, but the bottom line is, what is the reason? And will you be asked a question by an immigration officer? Possibly. But again, you're applying for naturalization in 2030. You will have maybe a couple of jobs since then. So, yeah. So long as everything was done legitimately, no fraud was committed, if it's not working out for you at your employer anymore, it's not working out for you.
Right. I mean, some marriage-based cases that the marriage doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't work the day after the person gets the green card. It falls apart, for whatever reason. It's a great point.
And as long as there was no fraud in the original case, then it's just sort of a coincidence. Okay. We ready to come over here?
Yes. Go for it.
Oh yeah. So Taki wants to know, he says, hi, how long do you hear from USCIS after responding to an RFE by mail? We did the I-130 and the I-485 interview.
Usually, I would say 60 days.
60 days, Taki.
That's más o menos rough estimate. I mean, it can take longer. I mean, it really just depends on the.
That's a nice comment.
Yeah, it really depends on the office, the officer, and all that. Somebody asked a question. It was one of the first questions that I saw about DACA, and what do we think about DACA? Should she or he be getting their documents together for DACA? I think that anyone who's eligible for DACA should just generally have their documents ready.
Oh, you're right.
See,
I missed that one.
Yeah.
At the very beginning here. Yep.
Generally, you should be getting ready if there's anything that has changed. Like DACA requirements, there's a lot of years that you have to cover, and it's going to take some of your time to do that. But I think it's well worth it because of the signaling that occurred and some of these decisions. Who knows what will happen, but it definitely doesn't hurt, Lucy, to get everything together and make sure you have all of the evidence. It's a lot of years to cover, but that's a really great question.
Yeah, DACA, for those of you who are not familiar, has been in sort of legal limbo, up and down, back and forth, just for years. But I agree 100% with Radlin that you should definitely be preparing. If something is going to work for you, you want to be ready.
Yep. Okay. So thank you so much, Miss Deborah. Miss Deborah says, I am your client and you guys have been great preparing my family's case. Your expertise have made us so comfortable. Thank you so much. Bless you. Okay.
Yeah.
A live client review.
Mhm.
So there you guys have it.
And we couldn't say it, but now she's outed herself.
Yeah, that's right. We couldn't say it.
We couldn't. She's welcome.
We couldn't say
She's
that.
welcome
But
to say it. But
client confidentiality is extremely important to us. Every consultation, every communication, everything that you tell us and that you tell any attorney
right.
is confidential. So, it doesn't, when we consult with you, there is no client attorney relationship. We're not your attorneys, but there is still confidentiality in that consultation.
Yeah, which is one of the reasons that you really want to make sure that you're 100% truthful. There's no need to hide the ball at all from an attorney during a consultation because it's a protected communication that can't be shared with anyone anyway. Okay. Let's see here. Zaxo USA wants to know, how long does it take to renew a green card?
So there are two ways, and I want to be clear about this. There are two ways to renew a green card, right? So if you have a green card and it's not a conditional card, then getting the card in hand can really, it can actually take 6 to 12 months to actually get the card in your hand. But when you file that I-90, and again, I'm talking about everyone who does not have a 2-year conditional resident card. When you file that I-90, then your permanent resident status is going to be automatically extended by USCIS. So you'll have your expired card, your receipt to show that you have renewed your green card, and that receipt is going to have that automatic extension. But I do have a follow-up question for you. Is why are you renewing your green card instead of applying for US citizenship? Call us. And then for those who have to file the I-751, it's different from the I-90. That process also will automatically renew your permanent resident card, your conditional resident card, your 2-year card, and you will have a receipt notice, and that receipt notice is proof that you are in lawful status because you have filed the I-751. Okay. Let's see here. Josephine has a question. Let me see here. In filling the N-400, then have a court case in the origin country, like for example in the Philippines, do you think it will affect the naturalization process? Will USCIS know it? Really good question. And let me just hide this here. This is okay. Good question. When you're filing this N-400 application, and you've got a case in somewhere else, right? In this case, the Philippines. Do you need to put it on your application? How is immigration going to even know, right? Will they even know what has happened in the Philippines? So it really depends on what it is in the Philippines, right? Is it a criminal case? Was it a criminal case in the Philippines? So the question is, have you ever been arrested, cited, charged, indicted, fined, or imprisoned for breaking law? This is a criminal-based question, all right? This is not a civil question. And a lot of people, even first-year law school students, we have a hard time understanding what the difference is between a civil case and a criminal case. And some civil cases kind of can seem like criminal cases, right? So a civil case, can you just kind of, John's really, he can explain that probably better than me. Difference between a criminal and a civil case. And I'm telling you this, Josephine, just because sometimes, you might be talking about a civil case.
Yeah, I mean, a criminal case, I mean, the easiest answer is that it's going to be in violation of a criminal code instead of being in violation of a civil code. The other thing that typically tends to separate the two and distinguish the two is the punishment, right? And who's bringing the case. So when you're dealing with a criminal case, you're always going to have a government entity bringing the case against you in some form. That's confusing because I know you're probably thinking, oh, well, I mean, I brought a criminal case against my neighbor and it wasn't the government. Theoretically, that's not, I mean, technically, that's not true. It's just in lower courts, individuals are allowed to initiate a case, but ultimately, if the case goes to a court of record, it will be prosecuted by a prosecutor. So the idea is that you have violated not just you haven't just done something against another person. By doing something against that other person, you've also violated the entire state, the entire country in federal cases because you violated that law. Okay. And the punishment that comes from that flows from that, can also not just include a monetary penalty, but it can include having your liberty taken away, jail time, imprisonment. Okay. That's a big distinction. So you have to ask yourself, this thing that I did it only affect one individual, or did it affect basically the government as a whole? And what's the punishment that I can get for this? Can I go to jail for this? Can I be put in prison for this? Or do I only have to be paying a fine if I'm in violation? All right. So those are the kinds of things that you're looking for. It's kind of a convoluted answer because it's really actually a really difficult distinction sometimes to make.
Yeah.
Right?
And Josephine, maybe maybe you were charged with embezzlement. Okay, Josephine. Josephine has not been charged. This is a hypothetical, but maybe, yeah.
Last thing before you get into that, and let me just add that some actions can be both. Some actions can constitute a civil violation and a criminal violation. This is the exact same conduct.
Okay, great point. And trust me, John explained that a lot better than I could have. But if you're charged, this is a hypothetical, if you're charged with embezzlement, like stealing from your employer, for example, or former employer in the Philippines, then yes, that is something that you would need to put down on the N-400 application, because the question is anywhere, right? Anywhere in the world, have you been charged with a crime, indicted, anything? So will they know? How will they know? Sometimes they don't know. Sometimes there's no documentation that for whatever reason, if it happened a long time ago, but the answer is still yes, right? You should not make any type of misrepresentation on any application, and you should be truthful on it. So let's just take this one step further and say, okay, you do not put down that you were charged with embezzlement. Say you were charged with embezzlement and they dismissed it, or they arrested you and it was the wrong person, and you don't write down that you've been arrested, but they do know about it and you check no, your application is going to be denied because you are not a person of good moral character, because you lied on your N-400 application and you lied to an immigration officer. So that is a long answer to a short question.
Well, it's a really good question because it opens up a lot of things. And Radlin brings up a really extremely important point. Being untruthful, lying about these things is worse than anything, because what happens to people is they have some minor thing that they don't think matters, and they just decide that they're going to leave it off or they're going to lie about it. And the reality is that it's something that won't bar them from naturalizing. It's not even a problem, but by misrepresenting it, they've made it a problem. They've actually created a problem by saying that it never happened, or lying about it, or intentionally omitting it. So again, this is why you want to make sure you consult with somebody, because if you're thinking, I'm just going to leave that off and hope that nobody finds out about it, well, you could talk to us and we might say, well, that's a bad idea, because you don't need to leave it off. They are going to know about it, and it doesn't matter because it's not going to bar you from naturalizing anyway. So don't do something stupid and put yourself in a bad situation unnecessarily. All right. And they know this is a slightly different situation because she's talking about a case in another country. But if it happened in the United States, they know.
Right. And they know.
you got that speeding ticket in South Dakota on spring break, and you're thinking, well, South Dakota is nowhere close to California, so they're not going to know about it. They are going to know about it. So, and the reality is, it doesn't matter. If it's a minor speeding ticket, it's not going to matter anyway. So, okay.
Right.
Great question. Thank you.
It's a good question. And then I'll take it one step backwards and say, did you put this, if this was an actual criminal charge or arrest, did you put this on your permanent resident application? Did you put it on your I-485 or your DS-260 if you did consular processing? Because these questions are also asked on the I-485 and the DS-260. And so then we get into a deeper analysis and say, all right, this is something that even if we did put it on the I-485, it is not a material misrepresentation. She still would have gotten her green card. Anyway, call us, Josephine. Let's get into it, and let's get into it because we don't want you to file for naturalization if it's going to jeopardize your green card. We want you to file for naturalization if you are clearly eligible for it and there's something that's not going to prevent you. But these are the things that you may not have thought of, guys. You may not have thought that, oh shoot, what did I put on my green card application? And it's not lining up with what I'm putting on my N400 application. So you said you never got arrested in your green card application, but then you're saying now that you got arrested on your N400 application. You didn't put it on your 485. You lied to us then. You made a misrepresentation. Had we known that, we would have never approved your green card. So these are things that you really have to be careful with, which is why we do a real deep dive into your history. Okay. All right. Who is it? Let's go over here. We're going to go a few minutes longer than 9 because we started late. But what questions next?
Jack Sparrow wants to know.
Jack Sparrow.
Yeah, I filed my naturalization application, currently at scheduled interview. How long does it take to get a date?
Scheduled interview. I mean, it typically takes, well, it really just depends on where you are. So it depends on where you are. It depends on the jurisdiction. It depends on the city. It depends on where the field office is. All immigration offices are different. But if you are saying that if it's showing up as scheduled interview, it will not be too long, a month or so. Usually get the interview notice about 4 weeks or so prior to your interview.
Right. So be careful, Jack. I know you have a long rap sheet.
I know. Jack Sparrow.
I mean,
he's a pirate.
All the plundering on the high seas. All right.
All right. I've got one here related to the last one. My mother-in-law is on. Hi, Mom. How are you?
Hi, Mama.
Good to see you.
She says, good presentation tonight. Thanks, Mom.
Appreciate that. Nice. We have a compliment from the parent. Let's do, here we go. We're having too much fun with the audio track. Sure. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that. We really appreciate it.
I started Triumph, but then I realized that no. Okay. Oops, that was Scream. Sorry.
Right.
So, I didn't.
Okay, that was Scream. Should we do awkward now?
Yeah, no, I didn't.
Just push down here.
I just need to hide this.
It is right there.
Yeah, let me get rid of that. There we
go. Roll in. Thank you for being patient. Roll in.
Sound effects open, and that was okay.
Dangerous. Okay. Is it going to be a problem to the marriage-based green card interview that I checked the form for the question, do you work without authorization? Check the form for the question. My lawyer's advice to me was to say no, even though I've worked for almost 9 years here. Should I be honest to the interview and say, yes, I worked and it's misunderstanding between my lawyer about that issue?
We don't even need to.
All right. So let's just, all right.
I don't want to touch that question at all.
Rolian, listen, you sound like you are represented by a lawyer. And I can't tell you what to do. I think you need to go back to your lawyer and ask your lawyer about this because you are represented. But I will tell you what we do and what I think is the right thing to do. But you speak to your lawyer. Your lawyer may have reasons for doing that. I don't know what they would be, but
maybe there's a misunderstanding.
Maybe there's a misunderstanding, as you said, is a misunderstanding. So yes, I would absolutely. There's such weird things going on here. I think you have to. There we go. John is putting a puzzle piece together, guys, so we can continue our live stream.
Good news is I love puzzles.
Mm-hmm. Okay, awesome.
That
was a close one. Yeah. All right, so talk to your lawyer about this. I will tell you that if our clients work without authorization, there is a question on the I-485, and this is why Rolian is asking this question, and it asked if you've ever worked without authorization. Now, if our clients have ever worked without authorization, then we always, of course, check yes, because that is the truth, and you need to put the truth on your application. So I'm not your attorney, Rolian. I would go talk to your lawyer about this. And if this happened, now sometimes our clients may not let us know that they have worked without authorization, or when we're completing this application, they didn't read it fully before they signed, whatever the issues are. And there's an opportunity to correct that at the interview. So if there's something that our client has failed to tell us or forgotten to tell us, or, we just didn't put it on because we didn't know, then I would typically, and it just depends on how the interview goes, I would typically just start off with that after my client swears in and say, hey, we need to make a correction on question X. And we need to check that box to a yes instead of a no, and here's the information. Or we neglected to put down this arrest, and here is the information. Now, sometimes I'll wait again until, we're going all the way through all the questions in the I-485, but oftentimes, because our client's nervous about it, and also just, I don't want it to go I don't want to miss it, right? We'll say it prior to all the questions getting asked on that I-485. But Rolian, I'm not your attorney. I would talk to your lawyer, and if there was a misunderstanding, figure out why they may have asked you to check no. But the truth is the truth. And
I don't like yes. I don't like the sort of the deception, the dishonesty. It's a bad. I'm gonna just leave it at that. Tonight,
I'm moving.
She was with us earlier and said that she's moving to Kentucky, and I really need you guys to help me. That's great. We're very happy to help you. You should contact our office, as we said. But I want to take this opportunity to point out she's moving to Kentucky. It doesn't matter where you are. Immigration law is federal law. And so no matter where you are in the United States or in the world for that matter, we can represent you. All right. As Radlin said, we do all of our meetings through Zoom.
Yeah.
With the technology today and the way immigration law works, it doesn't matter where you are. You do not have to be physically located in Virginia Beach or the surrounding area in order for us to represent you. We have clients all over the place. We have clients in New York and California and Florida and Texas and North Carolina and the Philippines and Mexico, you name it. and we've probably got a client from there. So,
Yeah. Kentucky.
Yep. When you get to Kentucky,
or call us before you get to Kentucky.
Before you go to Kentucky, yeah. Not be when you get to Kentucky. Tomorrow, call us and then we can get everything started for when you get to Kentucky.
Yeah, and it also depends on when you're moving to Kentucky. Like you could file your case now. If you move to Kentucky, then you're going to have to wait to file your naturalization application because you'd have to have jurisdiction there in Kentucky. So if you file it now and then transfer your case, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about what the best options are as far as timing and when you're ready to do it. So
yeah, make sure you go to Bardstown. When I was a kid growing up, we used to have family reunions in Bardstown, Kentucky.
All right, next question here. Okay, no, there are no other questions. Oh wait. Yes, I got all the questions here. You want to grab a couple more questions and then we can call it a night, a very successful night. I actually have an appointment after this.
Want to know if it's advised to have a lawyer? Yes. What are your thoughts on humanitarian reinstatement?
My thoughts on humanitarian reinstatement is we don't charge enough for humanitarian reinstatement. I think humanitarian reinstatement is a wonderful tool to, bring the family member that got left behind together with the family here in the United States. Humanitarian reinstatement is very frustrating to work with. There's no receipt when you file it, and therefore things get lost. They do take years to resolve. The end result is amazing. I was able to help. We've done a lot of humanitarian reinstatement, and I'm only half kidding about needing to charge more because they're a lot of work, a lot more than we think it's going to be. And we should know better, but one of my favorite humanitarian reinstatement cases is helping high school friends bring their sister who was left behind in the Philippines, their family, a huge family of 12 siblings. And you were able to bring her here on humanitarian reinstatement. Did it take a few years? Yes, it did. But they had lost hope. Their parent had passed away, and we're able to do that. And not only that, but her son was able to come with her, immigrate with her, and now her son is in the military and doing really well. And it was great to be able to help old family friends and people that I went to school with, and people shopped at my parents' grocery store. So I love humanitarian reinstatement, but I need to double our fees.
Yeah, long, difficult cases, but very rewarding.
Okay.
All right, I think we are now out of time, so we're going to take it out. We're not going with my old Kentucky home, as tempting as it is. We're going to stick with our regular bumper music heading out.
All right, this is our daughter. This is her first single, right?
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Okay, everyone.
Thank you so much. It's been fun. We'll see you on Wednesday. We'll
see you next Wednesday. Hey, bye.
2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Take care.
I think that we are.